dining room is an experiment into the universal nature of Western society. What a very academic answer to that. It's really about you. It's about me. It's about all of us in this together and finding that time to join hands and meet the people next to us and share these moments together. Play is so full of metaphor and universality, and that's what I was really hoping to come across with this one. This dining room could be set anywhere, and situations that just about anybody could find themselves in. The other great thing about this show is that it pulls in scenes from approximately an entire century. We have a father and son sitting down to breakfast during the Depression, and we also have two teens breaking into their parents' liquor cabinet. The original Broadway cast had 6 performers, including the big name is William H. Macy, did this 20, 30 years ago. And as for the community theater production, I wanted a larger cast to be able to give more people a chance to work here. And I ended up casting 15 people for this production, and we have people that are in their early teens, and we have people that are well into their 60s. And there's such a friendship and bond growing with all of these people and over this art that they're creating together, and it's going to be a truly phenomenal work. The performers in their 50s and 60s have had more experience than those in their teens, but through this production they're able to share all of them together. The teenagers in this production, their few years have been drastically different than the teenage years of those who are in their 50s and 60s now. And so there is so much to learn from each other and experience together during this show that I think everyone is learning every second. We have such a wealth of talent here at Eden Prairie, and in this show alone, we have counselors, we have computer programmers, we have people from all walks of life, and they all bring in their own experiences. The first day we were in rehearsal, it's one of my favorite theater exercises to work on. It's called Life Cycles. And we had this group of 15 performers, and we start them in the womb and go through all of the ages of life. We go from 1 day old to 3 days old, all the way up until approximately 100 years old. So we have 50-year-olds and 12-year-olds all playing 6-year-olds at the same time, if you could follow that. And they get to experience everything in life to work on the character development because of how physical this show requires them to be. My eyes are constantly drawn back to these adults, getting a chance to let their personal experiences and personal lives just be set to the side for a moment and have the fun of a 6-year-old. I've often found that pulling from multiple sources, whether that's a physical real-life thing that I've seen. I remember one character I played in a Shakespeare show. It was based on a president and a cowardly dog. A mentor of mine had this young dog who had been battered before and it would shy away from everyone. And that's who this character was. Just seeing someone that had a potential for threat would make this person cower. And then there were moments of glory when this person would come out, and those were the presidential moments. It's so much fun working with these because in film you can have these very small, tiny moments, and it can change with the bat of an eye or the way you breathe. You can see a nostril flare on film. You can't see that on the stage. So you need to have these big moments that don't pull us out of the scene, but that draw our attention and pull us even more with you. There is one tableau that we use in the Ontarian scene that's actually a direct pull from Godfather Part 2, for example. And we do some St. Joan references during one of the other scenes. The general apparel of mankind, at least in American society, hasn't really changed all that much. I went through a lot of artwork books before I started this production, trying to find out costume pieces and colors that I liked. We tried to stay as neutral as possible and let the characters really come out of these neutral things, so that it could be you, it could be me out on that stage having those experiences, and we recognize them right away. We've had so much fun. We've tried improvisation, we've tried character work, we've tried the life cycles thing, for example, and it's just experimenting and finding out what happened before this scene, what happened after this scene, what are you actually saying during this scene. The divorcee and the carpenter scene where they're underneath the table, we ran that with improvisation about what they were actually trying to say to each other, and we were laughing for the whole 45 minutes of that rehearsal because it took us that long to fully realize to the extent of what they were discussing. I did a family production of Peter Pan when I was about 5 years old in Arlene County. I played Captain Hook. Other than that, I went and saw my two cousins, my cousin Mike and my cousin Karen, in Fame at Rochester, Maine. And my cousin Karen was performing in the show, and my cousin Mike was a sound designer, I believe, for that show. And after I saw them in that show, I decided to audition at the Central Middle School here in Eden Prairie. And I was cast in my first production, and I fell in love with it ever since. And I've been trying to balance the performing side with the directing side and the lighting side and stage management side ever since. This is one of the first major productions I've been able to direct. I just finished assistant directing a show called A Threepenny Christmas on Minnesota Centennial Showboats in St. Paul. It has been such a delight to work with all of the great people here, with Liz Michelson and the Eden Prairie Players Committee. They have been an invaluable resource, on top of being able to work with the city staff, who have done nothing but help us since day one. A week from tonight, we will be having a dinner party ourselves. The performers are all going to hopefully be dressing up and joining us with appetizers and entrees. And we will be having a dinner party of our very own at the Eden Prairie Community Center. And we'll be able to talk about our own lives and get a chance to know each other that we really don't get during the rehearsal process because we're always so busy together. I would hope that they come in with an open mind and that they are able to connect with their own families and remember that it's okay to let life slow down and connect with the people next to you. Gina Light gives us a great monologue at the end of the show about how the dining room has become archaic and that the expense of having a massive dinner party with dozens of people invited just simply isn't possible anymore. We don't know who our neighbors are anymore. We need to be able to connect with them again. And it's all of these people and all of these connections in our lives that we never seem to have time for anymore. This is everyone's lives. Whether you had this particular experience or not, you've had one just very similar to it, that our lives are not a set of different scenes, that they all run into each other and continue on back and forth.